Hello and welcome to another episode of Novice Chess here. I'm just going to be on leadchess.org and we're going to do a special April Fool's edition. So I'm going to be playing some, not always, but since we're starting off in the bullet arena, I'm going to go ahead and play some offbeat things and try to April Fool some people out of their opening book. Really? No one's in the bullet arena. It's very interesting. No? Well, that's strange. Okay, well, we'll jump out of the bullet arena here. And we'll do some headhunting. Highest rated player. Accepting the challenge. Let's go ahead and start off with B4. April Fools. Let's do it. Okay. Fianchetto the bishop. I think after I go knight f3, I have pretty good control over these dark squares here. If knight c6, maybe b5, that would be perhaps a bit much. We'll see. I think what I'd like to do is play e3 d4. Although it blocks my dark squared bishop in, it still has the idea of controlling these dark squares, and it will allow me to maybe potentially push the B pawn, the A and B pawn in the future. So I think I like that plan. Okay. E3 wanting to play D4. Maybe my opponent's going to fianchetto his dark square bishop. No, he's not. Okay. So he's essentially conceding that I'm going to hold on to the dark squares here. He's meanwhile looking to hold on to the light squares. Can I play c4 to just disrupt that immediately, or is this too ambitious here? I think this is okay. Okay. I forgot about that. So this is some sort of pawn sacrifice I have to figure out here. Okay, I just have to develop the knight now. Doesn't appear as though I have compensation for that pawn. I always forget that that pawn hangs. I have to keep that in mind once the e-pawn moves. Maybe just d5 was better. No, I like this because d5 isn't really stopped. There's nothing really stopping d5. Okay, just castles, right? I was thinking queen b3, but then knight a5 looks a bit rough. So perhaps a3 first, basically asking where this bishop wants to go. If the bishop goes back, then I have queen b3 hitting the d4 pawn twice, and if I have and if takes, then I just have pretty solid control over the dark squares here. Okay, so is he threatening anything? Can I just play d4 immediately? So queen b3, d4, takes. No, queen b3 seems like a mistake, so d4. Really attempting to fight over these center squares here. Attempting to reestablish my control over the dark squares here. I hope my audio is coming in okay. I forgot to check that. Do I take with the pawn? Or no. That shouldn't be right. Maybe take with the pawn. We both have an isolated pawn structure. I sink my knight into e5 shortly afterward. It's possible. It's possible. That's a good question. Let's try this. Let's try this. And after queen b3, that's bishop takes is obviously forced. So queen b3 is not as powerful now, but knight e5 perhaps. I'm not really sure. So if I go queen b3 now, it doesn't accomplish much. Okay. I'm not sure if I need to go rook b1 or rook c1. Some of the things I'm thinking about are playing knight e5, and if knight takes and I recapture, my bishop is reinforcing this pawn, which may become problematic for black. So I'm trying to anticipate whether I should contest the c-file or simply attack the pawn right away. So rook b1 attacks b7. But rook b1 rook b1, rook c7. Do I have a maneuver with my dark squared bishop here? What about rook b1, queen c7? That's probably the more accurate move anyway. Rook b1, queen c7, queen b3 looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and just attack this pawn. The point being, wherever he defends and how he defends, I have a response. For example, if he goes rook c7, I have potentially okay. So now I can activate my light squared bishop and attack the rook at the same time. But is it necessary right now is the real question. I don't think it is. Actually, yeah. It's tough to say. I'm going to go ahead and play h3, and the idea behind this is if I need to reroute my dark square bishop to this this h2 b8 diagonal, I'll have a place to tuck it in, and I'm also giving my king some space in case there happens to be some back rank issues in the future. Yeah, this is all fine. Also, it prevents a knight or a bishop from jumping into the square. Potentially contesting the e-file. You can't just give black immediate control of the e-file. I'm not sure how significant it'll be in the future. Although I'm down a pawn, I feel like this is still relatively okay. Also, I still have this bishop d2 to f4 idea. I really like this h3 move, actually. It's kind of stopping black's pieces from getting active. I mean, he could go bishop f5, but... the thing about this move is I wanted to... okay. This is actually not a bad move. That's not a bad move at all. I'm going to drop it back to b2 here, so I can still eventually have the option to get it to f4 if need be. Although this knight will have to be kicked. Definitely can't tolerate it on e4 for too long. Actually, if f6, that's a bit rough to deal with. Knight d2. Okay. So I have some ideas. I think placing... Yeah, that's true. Should I immediately contest is the question. No. This is better, actually. So if he gets his knight to c4, which is likely going to be the idea, I'm thinking of ideas related to capturing one or the other, and the problem is the rooks are covering both knights, so now I feel as though I'm not doing well at all. But what's the idea here? I feel like taking isn't really bad for me, but I'm trying to figure out if taking a rook off first is better. Really not sure. Taking rook first, queen takes. Yes, I think I like the idea of taking first. To potentially displace this queen from covering this dark square here. Then my plan is to take. What was my next move? I was thinking about either knight g6 or knight g5 or knight e5. Knight e5 attacks the bishop. Not really sure where the bishop would go. And I'm also threatening queen h5, which is probably annoying. Knight g5 right away. H6. Queen h5. I don't think I have anything there. Knight e5, bishop e6. Yeah. Bishop takes h7, king takes. Knight check. Queen somewhere. Bishop takes, king takes, knight check. If king moves forward, does this work? Takes, king takes, knight check. If king moves forward, maybe check. That looks pretty good. What if he goes back? Then I have the queen move here. Sure, let's go for that. This will be fun. One of us is about to be made an April Fool here. So it will quite likely be me. So we'll see. I have to be careful with pushing this f pawn, because then there would be a potential check here with the queen. So if he goes forward, oh, for some reason I was thinking I could sink a knight here, but perhaps just knight back is enough. We'll see. I think king g6 is probably the most testing line. If king back, then I must have compensation somewhere. Or maybe even king h6 is enough. But if king h6, then I have queen d2, which is threatening not only the rook, but a discovery on the king. Yes, exactly. So I was thinking this would be enough, threatening a check on two different squares. So if he plays f6, I have knight h4 followed by queen h5. Not sure if it's enough. And any other move is just doesn't seem that great. I must be objectively lost here. I'd imagine. But maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. So he has to play f6, right? Then check. Wow. Wow. Wasn't expecting that one. And if king... Oh, okay. We're going for this, huh? Right. Here looks good, where I'm threatening something that I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm threatening here. Maybe f6 is the most appropriate defense, just attempting to trade queens. F6 runs into a queen check. That's convenient. And now I think I'm threatening rook e1. That should be good. I'm threatening rook e1. I'm threatening queen d5, and I'm also threatening knight g6. So this is an interesting position. I'm interested in seeing what black's defensive resources are. If knight g5, bishop f5. Wow, that's nice. So maybe I'll have to set that up somehow. I could take this immediately. That may be important. Or do I control the file first? Not quite sure. Yeah, there is this bishop resource here. I think I'd like to figure out where this queen is going to go. I think queen f8 is really the only appropriate square. Any other square is just seems as though it's asking for trouble. Maybe a queen sack here. It might do it. Yes, but this must be winning for white now. Maybe I'm being a bit optimistic about my chances here. King f8. Check. It is tricky. But if king f8, knight check, king e7, I do have queen takes d5, which is a nice resource. No, this just mates, right? Check and then mate. Check and then mate. That was a good game played by my opponent. We're definitely going to analyze this. Thank you for the game. Oops. That was a really fun game. Yeah, let's go ahead and analyze this. Because I'm really interested in seeing... I'm almost certain I was objectively losing in many positions. I was able to swindle my way out of it. I mean, dropping the b4 pawn definitely didn't help in the opening, but okay, let's see what happened. Wow, I see a big shift here. It'll be interesting to see when that happened. But yeah, as you can see, blue here, so black was just winning this whole time. There was a point where he was a whole almost a whole 5 pawns ahead. Yeah, here I'm just already worse. Taking with the pawn. Computer says best move was knight takes. My logic behind pawn takes is I'd like to... Oh, and by the way, there are arrows on Lichess now, so... Oh, I did that with the wrong button here. So I wanted to get control of these dark squares and potentially sink my knight in. If knight decided to capture, knight takes e5 with my knight being there, I recapture with the pawn, and my bishop will have good support over that pawn. Okay, so he takes, and computer just says I'm worse this whole way. So taking, and here I'm just losing even more. After takes, king g6 is the correct move, which I figured. If black ever goes back, it kind of gives me the compensation I'm looking for. So if black goes back like this, then I just have an initiative after queen h5, and black has to try and figure out how he's going to get out of this here. Okay, but my opponent played the correct move, king g6, and now I'm just really trying to make things happen here. This was apparently incorrect. Knight c4 was the best move according to the computer, which makes sense because when white has a potentially dangerous initiative, you want to get your pieces as close to your king as possible so you can neutralize my pieces. It also makes sense to attempt to neutralize my knight coming to e5, not only from a sense that I have the initiative, but also you're just up material. So knight c4, and if I had ever decided to, like, assuming this queen wasn't here, say I decided to jump my knight into e5, just trading pieces down when you're up material also makes sense. Okay, knight h4, and he's still winning here. Still winning here. So knight c4 now. That's pretty interesting. If he had done it, you know, a move ago, well, not one move, but not counting the forced moves of his king, if he had done it a move ago, he would be still winning by a large margin, but now he's lost a big portion of his advantage. So yeah, they're saying the best move is f6, which I thought as well. After rook e1, I'm still losing. Bishop e6 and knight g5. But after queen e7, my opponent is just getting mated. So it says the best move was knight d6. So let's look at that here. Knight d6. What I was thinking was, okay, it's giving a line actually. Queen d7, queen h7, I mean. f8, check. e7, okay. Right, yeah, exactly. Okay, so the king has to run a bit. h4, okay. h5, I guess this is my only shot, according to the computer. Queen e5, threatening to take the pawn, and actually threatening to take the knight. That's an even stronger threat. Just winning material back here. After the queen moves, doesn't seem so great. And whoa, what is this? King b7, h6, and knight takes d4. Okay. And here, black is threatening things like knight checking on f3, but that's hard to calculate that line. So really, I think the lesson to be learned for black side here is, whoops, I went back a bit too far. Really use all of your pieces in a defensive way. Even after he brought it back, he still had this idea of bringing his knight into d6 as a defensive piece, and it seems as though once black plays knight d6, white is pretty much busted here. Okay, I appreciate you guys. Well, actually, this is not going to be the end of the video. What am I talking about? Let's play some more chess. April Fool's edition. That was an April Fool's. Okay. Do we want to headhunt or... It's weird that these tournaments are empty. Headhunt. No, let's not headhunt because people are playing high time controls. Let's play something a little bit quicker. Okay. Even though I'm probably going to lose and lose a bunch of rating points. Let's go. Why did I start with this move? This is not an April Fool's move. Okay. Let's do it that way. Completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Does this do anything? No, not really. Can't I take this? I think I can. I think I'd do this and play knight d2, and hopefully he doesn't play anything that immediately crushes me. Yeah, this seems fine, actually. Luckily. Okay, I mean, I'm not really sure. Really? Okay, I just dropped a pawn. Okay. This actually looks like a good move. Not really sure what's going on. Oh, this is not a good move. What's going on here? Can I win my material back? I don't know. Can I get tricky here? Yep, that's what I thought. Always nice to have tricks. Always nice to have tricks. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't want to fall victim to one of these tricks, though. And then I fall victim to a trick anyway. Wow. Excellent. Excellent. Open up the position somehow. Oh man, this is rough. Yeah, this is fine. Here. Yeah. I messed up. Yeah, now it's probably time to run. If I had to guess. Something like this. Yeah. Threatening to take the rook now. Oh, also threatening whatever this is. Here. This is a little tricky. Okay, and then white flags. If takes, I'm still threatening this mate here, which is kind of cute. Okay.